As a part of our Black History Month coverage, CBS This Morning. Morning is taking a look at the challenges Black Americans face when trying to find a job or climb the corporate ladder. Research from 2019 found Black Americans only made up 3.2% of senior leadership roles at large companies. And according to a new LinkedIn survey, 81% of Black professionals say seeing other Black people in positions of leadership would make their workplace feel more inclusive. We spoke with Zachary, a consultant, and Shanique, a marriage and family therapist, about what they say their experiences have been with racial inequity at work.
It seems like it's a little bit difficult for people to either remember my name or pronounce it correctly or remember to pronounce it correctly. And so they would often ask for, well, what's your middle name? What's your, do you have a nickname? Which definitely makes me feel ashamed of my name at times because it seems like I'm not good enough or I'm stereotyped.
As a young Black man in corporate America, folks have said all types of things about me. I've been told I'm too arrogant, too aggressive, sometimes not aggressive enough, too proactive, not proactive enough.
Looking for a job in the corporate world, I had 2 resumes. Both resumes were the same, except one resume had Shanique on there, the other resume had Charlie. If I put about 10 resumes out, about 7 came back for Charlie. 7 phone calls to offer a job or offer an interview came back for Charlie, and about 2 came back for Shanique.
I was gunning for a promotion, and I was doing my thing. Now, look, I'm killing it, right? Like, I'm actually doing all types of work, working in and outside of my business unit. I am doing above and beyond. I find out I got a white counterpart. He quits close to the top of the year. And then he comes back right before promotion decisions are determined. And that guy got promoted with me. So equal outcomes, but effort was not equal. But what I also realized is I'm not the only person out there experiencing this. I created Live in Corporate, a digital media network that centers and amplifies Black and brown folks at work. Gestures are cool, days off are cool, but the reality is if you're not letting Black and brown folks make actual decisions that can impact systemic change, you're not doing anything.
LinkedIn career expert Andrew McCaskill joins us now with more on race and equity in the workplace. It's all part of our partnership with LinkedIn. Andrew, good morning to you. I want to get to the resume issue because it's really fascinating and disturbing, but I want to start with your reporting. So you also spoke with Black professionals about what they face in the workplace. What'd you learn and what needs to change?
A lot needs to change. What we learned was that Black professionals overwhelmingly responded that things that were barriers to their advancement were not seeing people who look like them at top in senior leadership, not having access to mentorship and sponsorship, not feeling a sense of belonging in the workplace, and finally just feeling like that there was no path for them for advancement. All of those things culminate to Black professionals feeling like that there's a more opportunity outside of the workforce and working for themselves than working for companies and corporations.
So let's talk about this resume issue. We heard Shanique say that when she sends out her resume with the name Charlie on top of it, Charlie Wright, she gets 7 callbacks. If she sends out the same resume with Shanique Wright on it, she only gets 2. And that actually matches up with your findings and with other people's research. What the heck is going on there?
What happens is oftentimes unconscious bias is in place, sometimes just actual bias is in place, but people with equal qualifications and skills don't always get equal outcomes. And the unfortunate fact is that a lot of professionals are starting to feel like that they have to whiten their resume or remove racial descriptors from their resumes. I went to a historically black college. I went to Morehouse College. I can't imagine thinking I have to take that off of my resume. But the onus is on the corporations to put things in place to make sure that racial discrimination in their hiring process doesn't creep in. And you have to be intentional about it. It doesn't just happen organically.
Yeah, so let's talk about the intentions, because I love Zachary and I love Shanique. I thought they raised really great points. So what should employers do to put that in place and be intentional? Give us 2 top things they could do today.
Today is they can do blind recruitment, where they look in the hiring process and start to just only look at qualifications and skills. The other thing that they can do is that they have to hold themselves accountable. They need to start to measure and think about the number of people from underrepresented groups who are applying for roles and opportunities, and then juxtapose that to the number of folks who actually get callbacks and get hired in the end. This is not the responsibility of the job seeker. It requires extra effort for inclusion. And that has to be something that everybody at the corporation is willing to go along with. It requires extra effort.
You know, they also talk about fear of retaliation, black people in the workplace, when they speak up about it. So, you know, you're looked at as complaining or causing trouble. What other obstacles do they face, and how to navigate that?
There's so many other obstacles that they face, but I think, Gail, that 1 in 4 black respondents said that they fear retaliation. And so that means that we have to have allies in this process. Is that if you are a leader, you should be talking about inclusion, because that sets the tone for culture. People are not leaving, they're just not leaving their jobs. They're leaving toxic cultures, and they're leaving they're not wanting to have to deal with things like microaggressions at work, or feeling like there's hopelessness at work. So one thing that people can do is, if you're a leader, talk about this. Have the hard conversations. It shouldn't just be black people and people of color or people who are other talking about inequities at work. Because 1 in 4 black folks said that they felt like that they would receive retaliation when they talk about inequities. Yeah. So we need our non-black counterparts to jump in and talk about it too.
Yeah, it may be a hard conversation, but it's a necessary conversation. Drew McCaskill, good to see you. Thank you so much for joining us today.